coming to Mizoram and not having met some of the dignitaries and stalwarts of Mizoram football, it's a waste of a trip then. So I think I'm joined by this man on my right here. Everyone knows him. Everyone is familiar with him. He's known as the father of Mizoram Football Association, or rather Mizoram Football. And Renga sir is another dignitary from MFA who takes care of. I think the role is just for the name. I think you guys do everything that's needed from ground level to everything that's wanted for football here. Now, we've had the privilege of having you on the podcast. We've spoken in length. This trip and this particular conversation is mainly going to be around the Naupang League and how RFYC have come into a place where, yes, it's a hotbed, but their encouragement and push has only, I think, it's fair to say it has helped you all boost as well. Tetea sir, I'll start with him first.
All right.
And Renga sir, how do you think has RFYC coming in has helped your vision also for Mizoram football?
See, I think the most important thing in football is the development of youth at the grassroots level. So RFYC coming in has given us a new avenues for, broadening the prospect for footballers, young footballers, if I may call them that. So before they came in, it's not that grassroots program started with Reliance. It was there already, but the kind of professionalism that the RFYC has brought in, this is something which is new for us. It is very exciting, and we hope that the expertise that they have, the resources at their disposal, and our commitment towards making it, to make it better. I think this is something which we are looking forward to, and we hope that we are not looking only at the aesthetic or the the optics part, which is extremely great, but we hope that we will be able to have good results out of this in the next few years. Youth development is not something it cannot be an overnight success. It takes time. It's a very time intensive mechanism, and to be able to in the next 4 or 5 years, let's put the time frame somewhere around that, if we can make the football ecosystem much more robust using this, I think that would be a success for us.
So coming to you now, you've been there from the start till now and literally kind of the man, and yes, you have a team for sure, but leading up from the front, making sure Mizoram flag really waves high and the fastest and the loudest, probably making the noise in terms of football. How, as an administrator, from your day one until now, when you look at this partnership with the Reliance Foundation Young Champs and what they have brought to the table, like sir mentioned that it's not like Mizoram football never existed before that, or grassroots here never existed, but how crucial in your understanding is this partnership?
To cut it short, I had the privilege of meeting Mr. Arsene Wenger, who was the man who transformed Arsenal Football Club, and of course he's now in FIFA. We had a good 25-30 minutes with him. It's very reassuring because he was time and again mentioning about education in football. This is just what this Naupang League has brought to Mizoram.
Yeah.
Because, without the help of Young Champs or Naupang League or Reliance for that matter, football was always there in Mizoram.
Yes.
But the kind of football we play and the kind of football education we receive was not up to the mark.
Right.
I can say with confidence that we may have JJs and Dikas and the Roberts playing for India. But it was sheer, down to their talent. And also they were, I will say that, very, very fortunate to join, let's say, for example, Robert was the product of Tata Football Academy. And JJ again is like, an exceptional talent who was picked up at the right age. But we have this group of players back home who do not get that opportunity.
Right.
That is just what Reliance has brought into, Mizoram. And that is football education from the lowest level, it will grow.
Right. As someone seen, in an administrative level also, because we see different states, and now India is a country, we may call it a country, but we have to see it as a continent. They're all different. Each district within states are different. When you look at that, how much do you see the growth that happened in football for Mizoram? Like Mizoram has always been a football crazy place, but as both of you have mentioned, that what this partnership has brought in is some kind of professionalism, some kind of education angle to it. Have you seen that growth over the period of years within the football circuit in Mizoram, and how do you see it now grow from here on?
Okay, if I may, I've not been in this role of with the MFA for a very long time. I think maybe I've been here for 4 or 5 years. Tetea, and of course he's been there from. So I might not be the correct person to say it. And between that, there were the pandemics, where I think 2 years we did not play
Right.
any football. But what I've seen, the difference which I've seen here now is that in terms of education also, let's take one example of age fraud. Now, age fraud was in Indian football is something which is an open secret.
Yeah.
Now we are at the stage where even the players know that if you're indulging in age fraud, it doesn't necessarily help you in the future. So that kind of education has come in. So if we take this, what Reliance is doing with us right now, if we take it, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
If we take it a step at a time, I think the potential to transform this football ecosystem using this Reliance is, I think it's immense.
Yeah. Now, with this speed, we not only are seeing a development among players, but we're also seeing among coaches, referees, and there's also some kind of education to parents as well. I mean, they are being made aware of the importance of why this league or why it should be done in a way it is being done. How big of a boost is that? Because, I think as districts and states even across, they kind of lack to have their own coaches or give facilities like this to their referees as well. How big a boost is that for that aspect as well?
Refereeing education and coach education are the areas in which Mizoram is lagging behind. Take, for instance, our neighboring state, Manipur, Meghalaya, if you look at the number of coaches they have,
Right.
it's not surprising the number of players they are producing. If you look at the sheer number of, coaches in Mizoram, you would be surprised that, we hardly have one or two A-licensed coaches, and we only have one active A-licensed coach, to be honest, and a few B-licensed coaches, but still producing these players. With the coming of the Reliance and in the introduction of coach education, refereeing education, it's going to help us in so many ways. Because, in order to grow, you need, overall development. It cannot be lopsided. You just cannot have players. You need administrators, you need referees, you need coaches, you need groundmen, you need good journalists like you, who understands football. These are the areas in which we need to work. But with the limited resources we have and, and then the manpower we have, we are not in a position to, uplift all these, areas. And Reliance has done just that, They do not come only here to, to teach the children. They are here to train the trainers, to train the referees, and to help the match organization, training, etc., which is really immense.
Yeah. I think he always knows how to earn those brownie points. But taking forward, so how do you see this shape up like the whole of Mizoram? Because at this point, I think if I'm not wrong, it's just played in 4 different districts, right? How do you plan on to kind of take it to further places? And Izor also, I think at this point, struggled with availabilities of grounds as compared to the other districts. But these are the challenges that you're now aware of, but you also have a partner now to kind of walk with you. How do you think that all of these challenges will be tackled together going ahead?
Yeah, challenges again, as in life, the more the challenge is, the more hard work you have to put in. Now, I'm extremely happy because there's a good team. See, we are just the face of it, but behind that, there are people who are working day and night. And we have a very good team now, very capable people who are looking after everything. And things are going in like a kind of an automatic thing now. So if there's a match day, everyone knows what's going to happen. So from the day before that, everybody gets into that zone. The problem again, like we said here, is that the grounds, which we are not able to get as often as we like. And our requirement is too massive, actually. See, we need, at least 50 days, and that too all holidays. We can't, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even if I have the ground, it's of no use to me because I need 600 kids to be able to come to the ground on a given day. So this challenge is not something which is going to go away. It will be there. But fortunately, we have a period of 365 days to finish these things. So that challenge, even though it's a challenge, it is not something that's not going to go away, and it's not something for which we should make an excuse. But at the same time, what we were telling, going to other districts, this will depend on how much the results we are able to produce from the 4 districts which are doing, in which we are doing it right now. So if the results are there, are encouraging, and like I said, it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 years. If these 4 districts can produce something, and our partners Reliance see some potential, there are other districts which are equally, or in fact maybe better than these 4 districts. But Aizawl being Aizawl, we have to focus on it, and there are scholars from other districts who basically come just for this Naupang League from other districts also. So going ahead, it's very difficult. I think there is one area which we are lacking, which Reliance has brought in, which I just want to bring this out. It's collection of data. It's very difficult for us to go back 10 years and see what was the kind of the football activity which was going on 10 years back. It's very difficult for us because we don't maintain data. But now with Reliance coming in, they've shown us how to keep those data, and which will be very helpful in the future. So going ahead from here, I'm not sure if I should be the right person to speak, but it's very encouraging. But at the same time, right now we are just focusing on executing these plans. And maybe in 2 years, when we start seeing results in terms of, let's say, a number of Naupang League kids making it to the state junior team, sub-junior team, or going to another, ISL clubs, then if you look at this, maybe 2 or 3 years, we'll really understand how much this has helped. At the moment, it's very difficult to say that how it will pan out, but it's very encouraging from our side.
No, talking about data, it's not only Mizoram Football Association. It's the whole Indian football ecosystem, which is lacking data. I was doing my own Google research, trying to find out how many matches a person plays for, a country, and who are the champions in this category 5 years down the line, 10 years back, 15 years back, It's very, very difficult to, find it out because, even in I'm sorry to say that, even in the football house, in the federation, I was trying to get some of the data of our players who played at sub-junior and the junior level back in the 90s. But I don't say that it's not there, but it's very, very difficult to find out. It may be there somewhere, but we need your help. You need Reliance help for that matter. If we don't have this data, the world is full of data now. Data is oil now. It's gold.
Now, these kids in the Naupang League, if with the amount of data which we have right now, we'll be able to go back 10 years from now. If we look back on this season, this kid played so many minutes, scored so many goals. Those things are going to help.
This is what's happening in Europe, because player A at the age of 8, he scored this many goals. He was playing this many minutes in this particular season. These are the kind of scouting which we need in India. That is with the help of Naupang League. We can start it here in Mizoram, or maybe rather we already started.
Yeah. And I think, to add to that, I think it's not just it's something even practiced in schools across outside India, that they all have record. I think when we talk about US, even the whole NBA scene, they all have all the schools, because all these players get drafted and get scholarship to the different teams that they play. Anyway, coming back to you guys being the experts and I'm being the host here, he mentioned the challenges, and we do see that. But do you think is that also a way, and probably wanting to tackle that is also a way for you to venture into politics? So maybe you have a bit more clout there and say, I'm no more just a football man. You need to hear me out. I need the ground as well. So is that also a chance for that?
It is always good to leave politics out of football. Having said that,
I don't think anything is important.
It's always a challenge in Mizoram to get the ground, with or without the blessings of the government. But with the kind of project we had started with Reliance, and not only with Reliance, we have so many other activities under the Mizoram Football Association. For that, we need backup from the state government, not only the state government, even the central government. For that, you need some kind of a one-point contact person who will help you, not only in getting the grounds, but in so many other areas. For that, one needs to have a person sitting in that important position who understands and who loves football. Not only understand, person need to love football. Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. People claim that they love football, but when are in that such a position, if they are reluctant to help, then you can't do anything. So yeah, I mean, you're asking me something which is personal, but I rather say that, yeah, one of the reasons why I enter into this arena, which was not mine. Politics is sports, of course, I feel that I can do something more for the state and for the nation through sports.
Yeah.
I mean, in sports through politics.
Yeah. I think it's very rare that we see people kind of enter sports and then try and use politics to kind of do good. It was always the other way around. But anyway, but he's made sure, even off the record, that he'll be thoroughly a football man. So we are glad for that. Finally, Renga, so from you, how, as personally, yes, we may have worked only in MFA for 5-6 years. Doesn't matter. You're someone from Mizoram, and hence you breathe football. If I have to say that way, people who really love their sport. Personally, how are your expectations from this league, this partnership, and as someone as an administrator now, what do you think you want to do more to grow the sport in the state?
I'm actually not very good with words, but what I've always, when we look at football, to bring it up from that grassroots level, to make it, to manifest into the senior, the ultimate thing is always a senior football.
Right.
But at the same time, what Reliance is bringing in is the development of young footballers. So this, Naupang League is giving us a platform which was not there before. Player now, when we were young, we used to go to grounds because, like we've mentioned here, ground is always a challenge because the hilly area, you don't get too many football grounds. It's not like in Mumbai where, in one ground there can be three, four.
There's no ground there also.
Oh, is it?
Though it's not a hilly region, there are lack
So
of ground.
we used to go early morning before sunrise and we start playing. Then the big boys would come, they make us go out. We would be there for maybe 7-8 hours. Then we would have played probably 20-30 minutes. But now what Naupang League has done is given those kids guaranteed football, competitive football at a specified time. So if their match is at 10, they reach by 9:30. They play till 11, and 11:30 they are off. So gives them so much room to do other things also. So what this has really brought in, and what my expectation from here is that if kids they play more football, whether it's in terms of coaching, which is also part of Naupang League. Naupang League is not just about match days; it's about decentralized coaching, emerging talents. So a person who is playing with the football, is playing with the ball. If he plays more, his chance of, improving as a footballer is greater. So what Reliance has done, and what our expectation is from here, is that through this program, if these kids, after playing football, graduate to the next level, you can't expect an under 14 player to suddenly jump to the national team.
Yes.
But from the under 14, if he can make his way to an ISL reserve team,
Yeah.
and from there to the ISL seniors, then maybe in between age group national teams. This is an expectation from us, and we know we don't have that illusion that all 600 kids in Aizawl they're going to be, national footballers.
Yeah.
But he was telling it before. Now our requirement as a football ecosystem is not just that we are not looking at the next JJ only.
Yeah.
We also need to look at the next Tetea also.
Yeah.
We need to look at the next person who is going to be a national referee. We need to look at the person who is going to be the next coach. Now, when we have this group of kids who are coming together for football, someone is going to become a government official one day. Someone is going to become a businessman, and they'll be scattered all over the state. So wherever they go, that seed we are planting, so that if he is in a place where he can help with football, even though he might not have kicked the football after Naupang League,
Yeah.
then the ecosystem keeps on growing. This is our expectation. We don't expect all 600, 700 kids to suddenly become Lionel Messi and
Yeah.
become a professional footballer for India. But we need those. We need to sow those seeds in each and every corner.
Yes.
And this is one way of doing that. And if we do that, this ecosystem, I believe, will grow. And Reliance, like I said, it's not the end all of everything, but the fact that they are here and they've chosen the Mizoram State Football Association, even though like we are fortunate, and at the same time, I personally believe, I may be wrong, but they've chosen, they would not have chosen a better partner than us.
Yeah.
I believe that.
The reason why we are here, I think you can definitely take that credit. And for someone who said he is not good with words, I don't think you could have worded any better.
Thank you.
Coming to you, sir. Finally, I'm going to club two questions. You see a lot of former players who really got accolades for Mizoram and put Mizoram out there in the national level. Now giving back through being part of the Naupang League as mentors, as coaches, and as anything, as volunteering themselves, getting into the whole system. How encouraging is that when you see that from the start? Because probably I'm sure you've seen all their growth as kids and how they've kind of gone on to represent the state. And the final question is your personal expectation from this partnership.
I think the first ever live interview of a football player on TV in Mizoram was done by me. And, I was interviewing Malsongtuanga Mama. And that very gentleman, he has grown from, a Tata Football Academy cadet to national team player, an icon of East Bengal playing for ISL. And after he completed the football journey, whatever could be achieved in Indian football, now he is giving back to, the society and to the state and, through football. And again, he is very much one of us in Reliance in the Naupang League, which is indeed something which we never imagined, even in our wildest dream, that we will have Mama as a mentor. It is one thing. And if you look at the other, players, the former players, and even the active ISL players, during the free time and during the, holidays, they come to the ground.
Yeah.
They watch the match. Sometimes they train with the boys and girls, which is really encouraging. Because, these players, they keep on telling us that, if we had this kind of opportunity during our days,
Yeah.
we could have been much, much better player.
Right.
They say that, these players, they are going to graduate as really, really good professionals. The way they are taught at the Naupang League, at the ecosystem, we did not have this kind of opportunity during our playing days. So they are very, very, positive about the whole Naupang League setup. That is one. And you asked me this kind of
Your
question.
personal expectation. from this partnership.
Expectation is always sky high because without Naupang League, without the help of the Reliance, anyway, Mizoram is fortunate to have this football talent to play at the highest level of Indian football. But to achieve that consistently, you need a proper playing, environment. You need a proper training. You need proper education. I'm coming back to the education which I started with.
Yes.
Because with this kind of footballing education, not only football, in the kind of education, discipline and all the things which comes along with the introduction of Naupang League. These players, these kids, they're going to mature into someone. Yes, Mr. Renga was right. They may not, all of them will not end up being a professional footballer, but anyway, I'm sure that 80-90% of the kids will end up being a person who is who will be able to give back to football. One may be a teacher, one may be a businessman, one may be a policeman when he or she grows up. But at the end of the day, they're going to have that football in their head,
Yeah.
which one day they are going to, again reinvest it into the football ecosystem only. That is how I see it. Result, competition result, it is always there. I don't really look at the competition result. I don't say that with the coming of the Naupang League, we are going to, lift the sub-junior trophy and the junior trophy, Competitions will always be there. We may win, we may lose, but at the end of the day, what really matters is the kind of education which they're going to gather through this Naupang League.
Thank you so much. I think this is going to be my cherry on the top of the cake for me, the highlight of my trip to have sitting down with you all across and to have this conversation and have this chat. Thank you so much once again, and all the very best. I think all our eyes are always on Mizoram football, and hope to see it grow and grow with this partnership and otherwise as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.